Hi folks, Dino Bob here. We're in Challenger Park putting in the last animal and finishing off Djadochta Pavilion today. You've seen some bits of the more finished thing in the previous videos, but today we'll catch up on some of the speed builds that didn't quite make it in. We've got a sign now and have finished off this little separator in the path in. And we're heading now toward the habitat we'll be working with mostly today, where we're putting in our animal. You can see his sign's already lit up because he's actually already in there. But we're choosing Mongoliensis as the species rather than the non-specific Psittacosaurus, because in the past this animal has had a synergy with Protoceratops to increase the exhibit rating, and that's what we would have needed to get over the hump, fill that last little point of the star and get into 2-star territory. With the settings where they are now, that didn't work. Anyway, here are our new guys. You see there's 3 of them, which also tells you something, that I have taken advantage of the current lack of cost for actual research and selected the male genome so I can have male animals now. One of the parts of finishing it off was getting rocks in to increase the desert vibe, and also to do a little bit of work where the elevations change in the hopes of controlling how the animals will walk through the habitat. The velociraptors can be pretty climby, but the Protoceratops, they're like the champs. They go on top of everything. I'm also putting the rocks in there to cover the fence around the backside of this habitat. It's sort of an attempt to echo the Flaming Cliffs location in Mongolia, which is where the expedition from the American Museum of Natural History, led by Roy Chapman, Aaron Andrews, found the first Protoceratops. They brought back and got them into science, as it were. And of course they brought back eggs, which was a big finding as well, and they were assigned to Protoceratops, but that turned out to be not correct. Looking forward to having the correct animal for those eggs in game eventually. He was one of the 50s, or perhaps in this case she was one of the 50, but the 50 is off the table now as expected animals, and we're going to be getting what we get. These guys are good climbers, and I did have problems with them getting on top of that, which I didn't intend. But you will see me in a little bit struggle with a lump of terrain I couldn't get even, and covering it up with rocks. And whatever I did meant these guys would teleport up to the top of the habitat. The Psittacos were going up there too. And that was a non-starter. They'd go up there and get stuck. Not a good plan. And eventually I was able to rip some of this stuff out and get that lump flattened so that I didn't have to have the higher rocks there. And that seems to have gone a long way. Well, that and also raising the roof of that little shelter just a little bit, gone a long way to cutting down the number of climber incidents. I don't know how much of that the devs will be changing as they look at the animal AI and locomotion during the course of the public beta for the update 8 testing. But we'll see as we go along, I guess. I also wanted to finish off the roof now that I've done a fair bit of detailing on the inside, and I wanted to match the color to the concrete that I've got there, but since this is a different material, it didn't want to match up exactly, so I kind of got it to a satisfactory level and decided to move on. So you saw the overview look, which is where I was like, well, you know, what needs work, and make some decisions about where I wanted to put some work in. So I come through the brush. There's been some more foliage work. Things are finished off a bit better. You perhaps see that rock wall in the far distance. that is covering up some stuff I was working on beyond what's in this series of videos that I'm doing pre-recording, because I'm not going to be able to record for a couple of weeks, and didn't want it showing up in the videos I was doing. I know I've been spoiling some surprises so far because of the issues I had getting my recordings together and getting them to work, but it is what it is. So in the back of this area there where the lady's leaving is what I hoped would be an area where the keepers could bring guests in and give talks about the animals here, possibly even bringing out an animal for a close encounter. And that's not something that will likely happen as a thing that can happen in game for some time at best. So we're out here now looking around. We got the path here. We've got some benches for our guests, which they still don't use yet. You can see a little bit of hint of some stuff that's coming there. And our velociraptors are finishing up their lunch and going to go do whatever it is they do. Oh, I think got one going to do the jump. Did he? Yeah, he did. He did. We just weren't close enough to see it. Oh well. Interesting behavior they have. But anyway, I think that's all pretty much of the build here. There will be no speed build on that little shop there in the lower foreground. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't get the video on that. So we're into animal time now. And well, that's interesting. These guys on the Protoceratops have a rather explosive poop when they do the animation, which is something I was not expecting, but has a certain biological sense to it. But yeah. So both of these guys are good climbers. They work on the rocks pretty well. So it's a little challenging sometimes to control where they can go. The Psittacosaurus in particular does a little bit of that sort of ice skating glide there when he trots. That's something I expect the devs will be addressing during the hotfixes that are expected during this public beta on the update. They've said they're working ahead on some of the other elements for the next couple of updates. You know, they've got a lot of programming for the programming teams with the animals AI, but the other members of the team who specialize in other things, of course, are not involved in that, so they're available to continue working ahead. And we got great things coming, I think. Anyway, we're getting closer to the end now, and it's time for me to think about the usual signing off stuff. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be great if you did. If you liked the video, give it that thumbs up. And if you've got a comment to make, I'd be happy to see it and do my best to answer it. The back corner there, by the way, is where the gate will eventually go, and I may or may not put a sort of visual shield so that you don't actually see the keepers open the gate. But that's not happening in this video. This time it's Protoceratops doing their little climby thing, and Psittacosaurus having a friendly drink over at the pond, and pretty much that's it. So until the next video, which should be next week, where we will make our attempt to get that full first star. I hope you all stay well, be kind to each other, and I look forward to you stopping by to see some more Dino Bob videos, or even checking some of the backlog. Okay then, y'all take care. Bye now.